Hello. Welcome to another Film Threat Watch Party. I hope you love dogs because you are in for a treat today. We are going to be watching Rebecca Stern's documentary, Well Groomed, which is a documentary about competitive dog grooming. And of course, just as I hear this, my air conditioner goes off, but that's okay. I'm well armed with a drink. I think you should be well armed with a drink. We're going to have a lot of fun watching this movie together. Well Groomed is, it was recently on HBO. I think it might still be on HBO actually, but you can rent it on Amazon Prime. It's on VOD everywhere. I'm excited to have you watch the film with us. So enjoy this little intro as I turn off the air conditioner. Yeah, it's one of those Fridays. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. We're going to have a lot of fun watching Well Groomed. I want to introduce my partner at Film Threat, the managing editor of Film Threat. Alan Ng is here to join us at the watch party. How's it going, man?
Good. I know. I'm just trying to catch up.
Yeah, well,
I need to subscribe to HBO for some reason, and
no, I love it. I'm a longtime HBO subscriber, and one of the things they're known for are really amazing documentaries. And we're going to meet Rebecca Stern, the filmmaker behind Well Groomed. She's going to tell us all about this amazing doc. I can't wait to hear the stories. Let's get into it. We're also going to have some special guests from Film Threat pop in as we watch the film. But let's bring on Rebecca right now, who's drinking and eating on a Friday. Rebecca Stern, thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's great. Well, you and I met actually at the South by Southwest Film Festival a couple years ago when the movie premiered.
Yeah.
I
remember that, actually. It was like, I think you were my third or fourth interview for the film, and I was still like very clunky and talking about it.
No, it was fun. There's a podcast from a couple years ago. It's audio only, but it's in our archives. If you subscribe to the Film Threat podcast on Spotify, you will see it.
Yeah,
which is cool.
And you guys have the trailer for the film that I think has the most views on YouTube, or one of the most.
Thank you. Yeah, that's our channel. When we started it, we didn't really know what we were doing with YouTube. And we thought, well, let's just post trailers for movies we like. And so, I'm glad. Yes, feel free to use that. That's great. That helps everybody.
Often, actually.
That's good. That's good. Now you have one. Sometimes I cut out every once in a while. It just happens. I gotta check my internet. But Justin Levy is here with us as well. Justin, how are you? I think your mic is muted. Oh, here you are.
I'm
good
here.
To see you, man.
Thanks so much, Chris. I'm good. Happy to be here with all of you. It's great to see you guys in as close as we can to in person these days. After reading Film Threat for a long time, and appreciate all you guys have done to support the film.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that. That's great. I mean, this is kind of our favorite. And Alan and I were just talking about this afternoon. It's kind of like, it's like a golden age of indie film now, with so much stuff on streaming and VOD. This is an opportunity to catch up. And the big studio movies kind of don't take all the oxygen now. It's like, well, what else is out there? And every week I've been going to the drive-in, catching up on indie films on VOD. And I know that Well Groomed is it's basically on everything now. Is that right, Rebecca?
Yeah, that's right. So we're still on HBO. It's a 60-minute cut. So like broadcast hour. And then we're now on everything else with the 88-minute cut as well.
Ooh, that's the cut that I saw, which is, I'm a fan of that cut, the longer cut. It's, so tell us what led to the making of the film? What got you excited about it? I assume you love dogs. That's sort of just a given. I
mean, that's kind of what led me to make the film. So you took my answer.
Oh, darn.
No, I had moved to New York, and I gotten a job. Is that your drink in like a superhero?
Can I just show you? Yes, it's a Batman pint glass, but with a cape on it. It does have a cape and a utility belt.
The next time I do this with you, I'm going to demand one of those. Like, I don't understand why you didn't ship them to us.
I'll just pass it to you. Wait, no, going this way. There you go. I
was living in New York, and I was trying to learn about documentary film because I'm a film geek and I wanted to know more about it. And I thought that I would start a short film that would be super easy to make, like something about dogs in New York. And it would just be like maybe 3 months. And then it led me into this like 5-year excursion into creative dog grooming.
That's awesome. What well, I'm gonna have so many questions. I want to introduce a couple other people from Film Threat that have joined us. Let's see, we have Anthony Ray Bench, who's
Hello.
Anthony. He's one of Film Threat's most prolific writers. He was my partner on the podcast for a number of years, and he's a longtime contributor to Film Threat. We've known each other, God, going on a decade now, I'd say, Anthony.
2 years shy of a decade.
Yes, well, we'll get to that decade. But the Film Threat is just a whole team of people from all over, and we're all extremely passionate. And so we're going to watch the film with you, if you don't mind. Norman Gidney is also with us. I'm a big fan of Norm Gidney. He does the website Horror Buzz. And who else do we have here? Chuck Foster's here. So we can have up to 10 people. So we're all going to watch the movie at the same time, which is really fun. So I'm excited to do this with everybody. This is going to be great. This is, in fact, let me throw this up so everybody knows. This is the Well Groomed Watch Party. Which,
so should I have the film?
it's if you I feel like if someone just stumbled upon this, they would say it's the Well Groomed. Is everybody on this watch party? Are we all well groomed? Oh my God! You know what I realized I should do? I'm gonna make sure that we are streaming live on Periscope. I'm gonna retweet it. I'm gonna retweet to make sure that we get people talking to us. Chuck, how you doing? You're in New York, right?
Yes, I am, and we're having a thunderstorm, so hopefully everything lasts.
Ooh.
Yeah,
well,
I saw that.
Well, and Herb Stratford from Film Fest Tucson says it's great. Maybe this is someone. Do you know General Scant? Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. So there's we're getting comments coming in. Bobby Lapierre says, are we watching the 60-minute or 88-minute cut? I rented the one. I'm assuming, I don't know. The one that I rented on Amazon is the 60-minute cut. Is that the one that we should all watch?
Let's see. Well, I have the 88-minute, but
oh no. All right. Well,
it's
Rebecca,
gonna make you subscribe to HBO.
Okay. Well, Rebecca, you can talk us through it. What else can you tell us about the film before we actually press play and chat during this?
Wait, did we decide if it was the 88 or the 60?
Oh, I think you should decide. I have the 60-minute queued up.
Well, then that's the way to go, and we'll talk about.
Okay, cool. All right, the 60-minute cut it is.
All right, I'm pulling it up because I am an HBO subscriber, and anyone
well, there you are. So everybody pull it up. So for those of you that have joined us late, make sure that you queue up the film. And just to give a little plug, we have a Film Threat shop now, and as you can see, because the branding is kind of covering me up here, I have a shirt that says Film Threat. That's all it is. It just says Film Threat. If it's an optical illusion, you see something else, that's on you.
Yeah.
Norm, how are you doing tonight?
Guys.
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've got my I'm being covered up by the branding. Justin, what can you tell us? What can you tell us about your role on the film? And I assume everyone on the production is a huge dog lover.
Yes, so I'm one of the producers of the film. Rebecca and I started the project together about probably 3.5 years ago at this point. Rebecca had made a short film that's also called Well Groomed. So for big fans of the film that want to see more after this, if you haven't seen the short, there's about an 8-minute short that this project started with, which Rebecca directed as well, but before we met. And I loved the short, and I loved the subject matter. I recently found out about creative grooming, and just couldn't believe it. So I was excited, and we decided to work on a feature together. And then I did all the producing stuff together with Rebecca, who's director producer.
Where can we see the short?
Actually, now that I've said that, did I put my foot in my mouth?
Yeah, I've hidden it.
Oh
I've
no!
hidden it because it,
Oh
it was
no!
my very
Here,
I get embarrassed.
Oh, come now.
Rebecca, can we suggest that if people want to see it, they can write to us, and we might be able to help them out, because it was online.
If they want to see it, they can write to us, but they have to make a really compelling argument.
Okay, cool. Let's give your email to everyone on the internet.
It's wellgroomedfilm@gmail.com, I believe.
Well Groomed Film, and there's also a Twitter account. So maybe if you also reach out on Twitter, is it Well Groomed Movie? Is that right?
Yeah, and actually, the Instagram is the way to find me, because
Okay,
I'm
cool.
of that generation.
Well, I just tagged you on Instagram on our Film Threat feed. So cool.
Yeah, the Twitter account's a bit active. We also have a website, and there's a contact on there that will come right to us as well.
Nice. Okay, so did you hear that? Everyone watching this, listening to this, if you contact wellgroomedfilm@gmail.com, you will be sent a link. I'm assuming probably Vimeo, to the 8-minute short that spawned the feature that played South by, that thrilled dog lovers everywhere. So before we start, to any of my team from Film Threat want to ask any questions before we press play? Because I have it all queued up. I'm good to go.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I saw that in the theater at South by, and it was a lot of fun. What I love about it is just the characters that you present, and we even were greeted by a couple of the dogs, which was pretty amazing.
We were supposed to have dogs on this. Where's your dog, Alan? Don't you? Your dog.
Oh yeah, I'll get her in a moment.
Where's your dog, Molly? Didn't you name your dog Molly after your favorite? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, after my favorite party drug.
Right. I don't know. I don't know drugs. I don't know drugs. I know light beer and cocktails. That's pretty much. I'm pretty bad that way.
Honestly, ecstasy didn't work, so we went Molly.
Okay, cool. And where's Molly though? I thought you were gonna bring Molly.
Yeah, let me.
Behind the curtain.
Come on, bring Molly over. Also, any comments?
This is very like Dorothy in Wonderland.
This is like, I feel like the beginning of this is always like every bad Zoom call. Like use your headphones. No, change your. You know how like every Zoom call starts with the reset, and it's like, it's sort of. And of course, I just go black out just like that. So, but this is cool. General Scant is excited for this one. Oh, this is great! Yes. Yeah. Say hi to Molly. That's awesome.
As good as it gets. She's like,
hey, my cat's coming to join me.
Oh, good. Good.
How can you pick me up?
Oh no. But I think is everybody ready? Does everyone have the movie queued up? Rebecca has it. We got the 60-minute version because you're watching it on HBO. So if you sign up for a free trial, you can watch it, or you can find it pretty much everywhere. So are we ready to press play?
Ready.
Everyone?
Yes.
Here we go. Do you want to give a countdown, Alan?
Yeah. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
I love that HBO logo. I love it. I really want to ask you also, Rebecca, what it's like to work with HBO. I mean, that company spawned so much great material and been supportive of so many filmmakers.
I mean, it was a dream, of course. Like, I never thought that. I mean, HBO is like the pinnacle. So I have to say that when we edited the 60-minute and then we threw the HBO logo on it, it was like shivers immediately. And the whole team is very, very nice. They're great.
Did you deal with Sheila Nevins?
No, this is post Sheila, actually.
Oh, post Sheila.
And it's also HBO Schwartz. So slightly different like folks over there.
Gotcha. Oh my God. This opening scene, I have to say, your cinematographer everything about this movie, and I think it's important. It's stunningly photographed. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks so good.
That was super important to us. So right at the beginning of the process, Alex Lewis and I, who's a cinematographer, we both lived in New York. He doesn't anymore, but we like walked along the waterfront in Dumbo and like talked about what we wanted this film to look like. And it was kind of like, at first we started with like, well, there's a lot of really cute dogs, so we should like definitely focus on the dogs. And then it kind of like spawned the conversation from there and got even deeper than I was expecting. And he was really ready to kind of meet me there. And so we kind of talked about how we wanted the dogs to be portrayed, and we talked about how we wanted the women to be portrayed. And then we just also kind of talked about how we just wanted to fall into the fur, which is what this opening sequence really is. Just like as much as possible, as close as possible into the fur.
Oh my God. I mean, some of these designs are just insanely over the top.
Yeah.
So what was it about, or when did you say, hey, dog grooming, let's do it? Was it just something you caught at the corner of your eye and spark of inspiration, or was it something more than that?
I think that, so I was researching dog fashion, and I was just like, why do people buy Gucci like and Prada for their dogs? Like, that's ridiculous. And so who has that kind of money in this day and age, And then in doing that, I ran across a picture of creative dog grooming, and I was instantly hooked. So yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of like that spark of inspiration. I like wanted to know who these women were.
Well, it's interesting
There's a lot of
because
pageants and pageant moms and stuff.
well,
Yeah,
it's sorry.
Oh, sorry. Bad Zoom.
Uh-huh. But I was going to ask, like, just the genre of documentaries that have like a competitive theme. That genre is like really popular. It's not just, I think it started kind of with Hands on a Hard Body. I don't know if you know that film.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
Justin, you know it. It's about a competition in Texas where you put your hands on a truck and you get scheduled breaks, but the last person to keep their hands on the truck wins the truck, and it's to promote this car dealership. Yeah. It's the documentary that's credited with starting everything from TV shows like Survivor to just other competitive types of documentaries, like almost creating a genre in a sense. So this has elements of that, but I think it's actually more than that, because it really is about love of pets.
I love the Pikachu.
No. Sorry, I got distracted by the cat.
Chuck's cat.
Oh, that's great. See, I knew there would be animals here. See, Bobby Lapierre says it does make sense.
Yeah, see, animals like to watch other animals.
It's true. Now, so Bobby has a question. Were there any groomers you met that did not want to be a part of the doc for whatever reason?
No, not really. I mean, I really early on, I kind of fell in love with my main characters. I'm a first time director, and so I was really looking for people who could tell their story really compellingly, with just like slight nudges. And I wanted characters that would like pop off the screen. And I even hesitated to cover. I wanted women who would do that, right? And so I did a little bit of casting and a lot of interviews, but the 4 women that we ended up focusing on were like the most, and I just like focused it on them. I think the grooming community, however, has like a lot. There's definitely women who I feel like I could focus a sequel on. So people seem eager for it.
Why is there any competitive cat grooming? Is that a thing?
Oh, that's definitely a thing. Yeah.
It would definitely. First of all, I was going to think there's no way that is, but I mean, it seems like everything like that would exist. I mean,
I don't know how you would get a cat to sit still for that long.
It's crazy. And they can do it. Like these
Maybe.
people are like they're
Oh, yeah.
legit animal lovers. Like they actually understand their animals. It's crazy. I can't get my dog to sit still, which is why he's not here right now. He has to wait for a little while before he can calm down.
Bring your dog on. Bring your dog on. That would be awesome. We would love that.
After 8:30 our time, he might join us.
Okay, that's cool. And
I remember people in line who were looking at the dogs, and they felt, I don't know, some anger because they felt the dogs were feeling humiliated.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You kind of project your feelings on them, and it's like it's cruelty because they feel humiliated.
Well, on that note, a little public service message: Film Threat T-shirts cure nudity on contact. That's something that we're very proud of with our Film Threat shop. But yeah, I just wonder if cats, I've been a cat person my whole life. I've had cats. I love cats. I don't know. I am a cat person. Anthony Bench is also a cat person.
Say hi, Wookie.
Wookie. Yeah, that's right.
I like that his whiskers are white.
She's a munchkin. When we got her, we thought it was a male cat.
Surprise.
So
this scene was actually interesting to film with Kat in the shop. Like we spent like a day and a half with her in her shop, and all of it was excellent. But then this one incredibly fat dog was kind of my absolute favorite. And we wanted to edit him into the film, but we had a really hard time because our cinematographer, Alex, kept laughing in the footage. So to edit the scene, we had to edit around him laughing behind the camera the entire time. And I think that like my editor, Katerina Stroff, and I spent so long on that scene, just like kind of like veering around the audio.
Bobby Lapierre has a comment. My wife says the dog looks like a Seuss creation in the best way possible. I love Ted Geisel. That's a little Ted Geisel reference there. Yeah, it does seem kind of Dr. Seuss inspired. That's a really insightful comment. I think that's actually true. Some of these things are just so over the top. I just wonder with the judges, what is their thinking? Like when the judges are choosing competitive dog grooming, what is the thinking process? I know, having been on some juries at some film festivals, I know that there's a thought process to choosing films that win awards at film festivals. I'm just curious about competitive dog grooming, how that is, because it's got to be vastly different, I'm sure.
I mean, is it? I've been on a few juries too, and like, the end of the day, when you're judging things that are of like kind, is that you go with the thing that you like the most, True. And
True.
you always figure out the reasoning behind that. But I think that when you're judging art, no matter what happens, it ends up being subjective.
Right. I think for me, having been on some juries, I always look at this is going to sound terrible, but I've discussed this with other friends in the industry. If a movie already has distribution and another movie doesn't and could use the help, I tend to go with the movie that I like the best, who would actually benefit from winning an award. Like it would draw attention to it that might actually help the film. So I don't know if that's just my personal, the way I approach things.
So Chris,
Valiant.
Would you say that you vote for the underdog?
No. I love dad jokes.
No pornography.
Oh no!
I heard
It could be a catastrophe.
Keep them going. Keep them
this is
going.
rough.
But this is
Alan.
when you. I mean, like, look. I believe that when you're a documentary filmmaker, first of all, I've never met a documentary filmmaker documentary filmmakers have the nicest butlers. And by that, I mean, none of them I've met have ever had butlers. It's just, it's a thing you do for the love and the passion, right? It's not, I mean, I assume that you were, compensated well by HBO, but you're not, you're not rich from it, right? I mean, unless you are and you're keeping this a secret.
The riches, they're everywhere. Gold-plated toilets, yeah. No, it's like, what's the Louis C.K. bit? I think we're still allowed to talk about him. It's like, when you go to the Oscars, only the documentarians drive away in like Chevys.
I don't know. That's it's going to be interesting to see what the Oscars, first of all, if the Oscars happen, right? That's number one, if the Oscars are going to happen. And then like number two, how they'll do the Oscars. We do our own award show called Award This, which is for indie filmmakers. We already have kind of a plan for how we'll do it, sort of part live event, part virtual event that people can participate. But the Oscars, the Oscars is a TV show. Let's be honest. All award shows are TV shows. The Golden Globes is my favorite. How are we going to do the Oscars? I don't know. Does anyone have any speculation while we're all here?
Like this.
Well,
they can't do it like this.
Is it in April this year or?
It's the end of April. They pushed it to the end of April.
Wasn't that when it used to be?
No. It was usually like beginning of March, middle of March.
Okay.
It was sort of after the Super Bowl. There's all these sort of things that had to happen. So now let's
dress everybody up in bubble boy suits.
Who knows?
Like the puffy ones.
I'm sure we're all at the same scene right now. She's about to feed the dogs. How long did you spend?
I'm at the part where Gucci's laughing at the cows. What were you going to ask?
Oh, I want to ask actually about the personalities of the characters you chose and then their dogs. Your observation about, how animals kind of do take on the traits of their owners. I mean, my girlfriend had a cat that was a lot like her. It was the weirdest thing. I've never observed a cat that was very much like its owner, but I know in dogs that's such a truism. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that it's like kind of self-selecting, you choose the dogs that connect with you when they're like little tiny puppies, and there's a litter of really cute ones, and then they grow up with you. But actually, a lot of these women choose dogs that are much older. So like with Adrian and Encore, she got Encore when he was like 2, I think. And so they just meet and then it's instant love. And so they end up like each other. I guess I don't really have like a deep thought about it. It's like how you pick your friends. They're not exactly like you, but they're kind of like you.
And I'm curious, Bobby Lapierre asks, considering all the animals in the movie, how tough was the sound editing? That had to present an issue. I mean, it's bad enough just like location sound is an issue. What problems did this present?
Oh my God. And I was taking all of the location sound too. So it was like, except for at the competitions, we didn't have any sound people on set. It was just me and Alex, really.
Wow.
So, God, Justin, how long did you spend in the sound studio with Brian? Like 3 months?
We had a really great sound mixer. His name is Brian Goodhart. He did an amazing job, and it was definitely a lot of challenging material to work with all the layers of dog barking everywhere.
We also made it harder for him because we added extra dog barks sometimes. So we would go in and be like, we need more dog barks. And then he would add them. I'd be like, are these the exact dog barks that we want to be hearing at this moment in time? Should they be higher pitched? Should they be lower pitched?
Were you able to match the dog barks with the actual dogs?
By the end, yeah. It's like you can tell Gucci's bark for all of them.
Alan, where'd you go?
I had to let my dog out. Yeah, so I let the dog out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
No.
Speaking of, if you want to do a double feature of dog documentaries, I mean, Well Groomed is great. It's just so super fun. And there's another one, a documentary about the song "Who Let the Dogs Out." Have you seen that doc? It's on Hulu, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's about a guy who did like a TED talk about the song "Who Let the Dogs Out," because the origins of the song, a lot of people are credited with writing it, and so he actually has he's collected every version of "Who Let the Dogs Out," and he's interviewed every band. Like, it's this thing where it's like an obsession for him, and it's a great doc on Hulu. So after you're done watching Well Groomed on HBO or Amazon or wherever you're seeing it, check out Who Let the Dogs Out on Hulu. Because I know everyone. What's that?
Go ahead, Chris. I was gonna say, I gotta say that the ET design is my favorite so far.
Oh yeah.
You see the Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah. Were there ones that you didn't put in that you really wanted to in the doc?
Designs?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to remember. I'd have to go back to the footage. The ET design is honestly one of my favorites. I just love the little finger.
I love the heart. Like, that's such a good detail.
Yeah. There were so many, honestly. We're Dan Deegan, who did our score, is coming out with a soundtrack very soon. August 21st, I think. Justin will correct me, but we're editing a video for him and going back into the footage and seeing all the different dogs that we didn't include, and it's just like way too much fun.
Well, Josiah
Yeah,
Teal
look out for a
says,
fun music video soon.
yeah. So I saw Baha Men at Epcot last year. It was cool, but when they played "Who Let the Dogs Out," they were gods.
I didn't know they had any other songs aside from that.
Yeah. I'm curious, Rebecca, what you said you cut 2 versions of the doc. I have another friend of mine who's a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker, who made a movie about people who waited in line to see Star Wars. And the ones that when you would wait in line for months, that's not a thing anymore. I don't know, maybe movie theaters won't even be a thing anymore. Who knows how things will be different in the future. But what was it like actually having to cut 2 different versions? He did it for British television. He cut one running time, and then he cut a different running time for US. When they say editing is killing your babies, or maybe for this, killing your puppies, who knows? Both are horrible things to engage in. But how do you take a movie that's like, okay, here's the 80-minute version, I'm done, and now HBO says, well, hey, how about a 60-minute version and we'll pay you? What is that process like, and how do you condense? What's it like?
Well, no dogs were harmed in the making of this movie. So
That's good to know.
It was hard, like it's hard to cut down a film. The nice thing was that HBO, when they asked us to do that, they made sure that the editing was completely in my hands.
Oh,
so
good.
we could go through and like carve out little elements. There's I think only 2 scenes that were fully dropped in the HBO version between this and the theatrical. So we were like carving like frames off of shots. And there's one shot that I'm in the 88-minute version that I'm just absolutely in love with. And our editor has always not loved very much. So that got dropped like kind of instantly.
Bummer.
It's like I was winning all the arguments, and then she finally won at the end of the day. But yeah, it's a hard process, but it's also a really good learning experience. So like as I said, like this is my very first film, so I got a chance to edit it twice, and like I learned a lot from it. I can't be mad. The next one will be even better because of this process.
And you sold it. That's the thing. I mean, it's one thing. First of all, the struggle just to get a movie made. That's number one. Get a movie made and then also get it distributed by one of the, HBO. I mean, their docs department is incredible. To be affiliated with them just gives it so much credibility. It must make it a lot easier to book meetings for your next project. Can you tell us what your next project is?
No, mom is the word. Nice project.
Well, I hope it continues in this arena in some sense, or when you're ready to talk about it, you will come to Film Threat and give us the exclusive and/or a podcast.
I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
Okay, good. We appreciate it.
For now, though, we're just enjoying our T-shirts, which Justin and I are both wearing. So. Whatever the next movie is, we have to have T-shirts that are better than the T-shirts for this movie, and that's the rule that we've put up.
Oh, there you go. You guys match. That's awesome. I love it. See? I knew dogs would make it on here. Look at that. Norm. What's your dog's name, Norm?
This is Remington. And he's a 7-year-old red Dobie.
Wow.
He's a lover.
Yeah, he loves Uncle, that's for sure. And then we have another 2-year-old female red Dobie who was actually a rescue. But she's a little rambunctious and she likes to hang out in the living room. But Ram likes it with me, so he's a good guy. Oh.
So I could just watch the dog forever. What's happening over in the movie?
I'm curious. Well, we're at the part. They're sort of in this park area, and some of the dogs that are, have the wild, colored hair, are intermixing with some dogs that don't. And I'm just curious because dogs check out other dogs. Let's be honest. We've all seen it. Dogs are very interested in certain parts of other dogs. But I'm curious how the dogs react when a dog that just doesn't have, colored fur sees a dog that has colored fur. Do they react in a different way?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. So the fun thing about dogs is that they're missing, is a little technical, but they're missing a rod and a cone in their eyes, so they can't see all the colors that we can see. So it depends on the colors on the dog. So if it's colors that they can see, they're like, what the fuck? And then, sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to.
Oh, you can say fuck on the Film Threat live stream watch party. Why not?
Oh, wait.
Go right ahead.
I just got distracted by Miso joining Justin.
The cats are winning tonight. Strangely.
Not expected.
Chuck, where's your cat? And Anthony,
right,
come on. We should get all the animals here at the same time.
I'll
On the live stream. Here we go. Yeah. Dang.
Let's see if I can get
I would get mine, but I'm
Where's
eating.
Molly? Where's Molly?
Yeah, let me check.
Come here.
I live vicariously through my girlfriend her cat just recently passed away. It's very sad. I lived for like 20 years. Amazing cat, Sophie. I always felt lucky, like I had a cat, but like all the responsibility, like I had no responsibility for this cat, but I had a cat. So I know at some point she's going to look into it. That's a sad thing. I think that like animals, in a way, especially if you've had animals as a kid, they kind of teach you. Oh, there you go, Alan. That's great. Molly.
That's a screen grab.
Yeah. Oh, that is great, Alan. Oh, wow. I feel like animals teach us so many lessons. And one of the unfortunate lessons is they teach us about how to accept death, especially when you're a kid. And if you ever lost a pet as a child, I mean, it's rough. So I just wonder if anybody has any thoughts about that.
About death? There's videos all over YouTube of dogs crying.
Right, like just losing a pet. I mean, yeah, I mean that's also one of the. I'm a big fan of the fail videos, and I love when they have animal fail videos. Are always entertaining. So, oh, I think we lost Rebecca. She's frozen. She's frozen. Maybe Rebecca, if you can hear us, maybe leave and come back. See. So, this is great. Remington, named after Remington Steele, Norm.
Well, that's what I call him. But
What's the Ranger?
and the other one is Daisy, and I call her Daisy Dukes. But you know, that's just me and my wit. So you know.
Hey, Rebecca, are you back? Are you back, Rebecca?
Well, she got smaller. Oh.
Going and coming back. Well, we'll see. For some of this footage shown, what was it like getting those rights, like the CNN News stuff, not the stuff you shot new? Justin, maybe you can answer that.
Yes, we were able to do fair use for most of the news footage that's in the film. Thanks to a good lawyer, making sure we had everything lined up for that. But it was also because, you know, the way we used it, we were careful to kind of qualify for what makes it fair use.
Ooh, can you tell us what that is? How do you qualify?
Well, everyone needs to consult a lawyer is my first piece of advice, because it's complicated and there's a lot of gray area, and every lawyer has a different interpretation. So, you know, one of the important factors that was in our favor was if in the film the footage is being commented on, you have more leeway in using it legally under fair use. So, you know, it's very different if you just pull a random clip from somewhere because you like it and want to put it in the middle of your film. But if the subjects in the film are making a point about it, that can only be illustrated by showing that particular piece of footage, then you have a lot more of a claim over using it without paying a licensing fee.
Well, I'll say thank you to you because you just saved me a lot of money from consulting an attorney.
Yes.
You still got to do it, Chris.
I'd heard that before. I have a friend of mine, Steve Bannatyne. He's a documentary film producer, works with a lot of different filmmakers, and he's that fair use thing. What was the movie? There was a movie that like it was one. I know that there's a film. Hey, here we go.
This is
that
Don. No.
I'm just trying to think what the movie was that kind of set the precedent for that. I know that like Larry Flint helped when it came to, you know, the reason you can do political cartoons is if someone's a public figure, you're allowed to, you know, satirize or make light of them in a political cartoon. And that really came from Larry Flint in the 70s. I know because I saw the movie with Woody Harrelson. But
there's actually a really fascinating book on the subject.
What's that book?
It's Fair Use, the story of the letter U and the number 2. It's about this band called Negative Land from the 80s, who pretty much, yeah, and they basically all constructed their entire albums out of samples, and there was a whole big deal over. They did a single called U2 and put U2 in big letters, and their band name Negative Land in small letters, and got sued by Island Records.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, wow. Sorry, we lost you, Rebecca. You're back.
I know it's a bummer too because my dog came and joined me for a little while. So hopefully he'll come back. Anyway, you guys were talking about U2.
Well, we were talking about the fair use, you know, because there was, you know, news footage, and how do you get the rights to that? What does that involve? And then we went down a rabbit hole of discussing legal suits and how it's impacted filmmaking. And
Yeah.
it's I don't think that anyone that's not made a film will probably not appreciate the amount of, legal work that needs to be done, how that impacts on the creative process. Even shooting in public, you have to hang up signs. If you're going to shoot a crowded New York street and you want to, there was a Denzel Washington movie that shot in downtown Los Angeles, and they hung up signs everywhere, but you can only show a certain number of seconds of footage. And he was just walking in downtown LA and on a crowded street. And you're allowed to show, it really is up to a certain number of seconds of that, as long as you have the signs up. So I love knowing the legal ramifications, or just the legal guidelines and how that affects filmmaking.
Yeah.
Nobody told Larry Cohen that.
Yeah.
I just love that you're like petting something off of the side of the.
Who, me? Well, actually, I'm scratching his butt now. He's like, yeah, the other side, please.
You might get a little present for that. Or a big present.
I know a lot of people are popping in and out. We are watching the movie Well Groomed. If you have HBO or the HBO app or the I don't know, aren't the apps like they're merging? It's basically all merging into HBO Max is what's happening. But Well Groomed is there. It's also on Amazon. Well Groomed is a documentary about competitive dog grooming that is available where streaming movies are sold. There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. That's just like the dog they had in the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Petey.
Yeah. Casting.
Oh, wow. What's your dog's name, Rebecca?
His name is Mo.
Mo. Oh, hey Mo. Hey Mo.
Hey Mo.
Hey Mo.
He doesn't understand the screen.
Why can't I smell these people? The butt is encroaching, by the way. It just he keeps getting closer.
But yes, we are watching Well Groomed.
I love that. This is one of my favorite parts. Jurassic, all of the dogs that are done like, dinosaur, the Jurassic Bark sequence. This is crazy. Oh my God. The one thing that in watching this, just having had pets in the past, like how these dogs are so patient to sit still.
I know. It's really a testament to their training.
Yeah, it's incredible, actually.
Really what happens is that, like, because they're all poodles, you have to groom them all the time. So one of the things that I learned about was that, like, if you get a poodle or a Bichon or any of these other dogs, they grow hair constantly, and poodles don't shed. So if you don't groom them, they can actually get very sick because they get very matted and it's intense. And so they just are taught to be that still from when they're a puppy, because otherwise you have to groom them. You can't not.
Yeah, we also learned
that dog is like a cattle dog who won't stay still for even a second.
We also learned that poodles have their hair is close to human hair, which is why you can do a lot of the dyeing that they do without harming the dog at all.
Exactly, yeah.
Are there any other competitions for different kinds of dogs, or is it just mainly poodles?
So almost all of the poodles in the competitions are, or almost all the dogs are poodles or Bichons or Pomeranians. Or, I mean, I guess there's a few other ones, but I get very distracted by the Pomeranians because they're my favorite ones. So, and it's like just absolutely hilarious to watch people be so serious about a Pomeranian. And the goal for the Pomeranian grooming is to get them like as fluffy as possible and like as round basically as possible. I'm sure that like all the groomers are watching this and they're like, that's not what the actual goal is, but it's just like they tweeze the hair up as much as possible, and then like these little tiny dogs like panting, kind of in the center of all of this fur. It's great. I should just make like a 5-minute short of just that because it's so soothing to watch.
Soothing, I would think it would be hilarious.
It's hilarious, but the dogs are just like at a spa, and they just do not care.
Oh, cool.
But then the person is so serious about it. Both sides.
Bobby has some really good questions. He's asking about the music in the sequence previously. What was the thinking behind the score?
It was the Super Zoo sequence.
Mm-hmm.
We really wanted it to like, part of editing competition documentaries is to make it feel like you're at the competition. So we wanted to just heighten that emotion. And I think a lot of the grooming competitions they're very slow in person. If for the viewer, for the groomer, it's very intense and fast because they're doing so many things. But it's like watching a swim meet. Like all the action is happening underwater, so you really want to be able to like heighten that. So that's what we were really doing in the score, is like making it feel more intense, and then to like dive further into the emotion of the groomer, and in this case, Cat.
I think it's an important thing for a documentary to have a good score. You can't overlook that.
Yeah.
When you were casting, how much did I asked this question with the last watch party we did, but how important was it to have dogs that could actually win or come close to winning?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is like the biggest learning moment for me. Apparently all the other documentary directors had clued into the fact that you could like cast many people and then choose the ones that win at the end. Oh. That is not what I did, and I didn't know that was an option. I just chose the people I like jived with the most and whose dogs I loved. So apparently I have very good taste in dog ownership or dog grooming. But yeah, I mean, for Well Groomed, I spent the short film and the feature film with Adrian and Angela, and then Kat and Nicole for the feature film, and it was really just because I like fell in love with the way they told stories, as opposed to whether or not they would win. Why are you whining?
I'm also curious for the other, when you were shooting this at the competition itself, were any of the other dog groomers jealous or upset that, all this attention is being paid to certain people and not them?
I don't think so. I mean, like, that's a hard question to ask someone. Hey, are you jealous? But it's actually a very collaborative group of women. Like, they're really there to like be together, and it's like a niche competition within a niche competition within a niche world of dog groomers, right? So they all know each other very, very well. I will say that there were a few competitions where we were filming all that close-up dog fur that you saw at the beginning, where we got a little bit too close to some of the groomers while they were on stage, and we did get yelled at for that. But otherwise, it seemed to be pretty good all around.
Nice. We're about 40 minutes in right now. We're 40 minutes in at the getting close.
People will find out who wins and who loses.
Well, I think actually for something like this, I think you had the right approach. I don't think you film a bunch of people and then decide to cut out at the end, like, people who didn't win, because then you can focus on the winner. What a lot of people forget is in the first Rocky movie, who wins? Well, Rocky loses in the first Rocky movie, but it's not about winning. It's about the journey. It's about, winning respect. It wasn't about winning that fight with Apollo Creed. And I feel like with this, like, I feel like, I feel like losing is as important a lesson as winning. And so I don't think it matters. I think you took the right approach. Follow a bunch of different people, and where the cards fall, they just fall.
Absolutely. And also, like, I mean, winning doesn't really teach you anything,
Right. Yeah, let's be honest. Most of life is about losing. I felt that way for like the last 3.5 years.
I've made it an art form.
There's so, like losing, I think that's when you learn something. It's like, how do you react to losing? How do you, what are the lessons you take away? Isn't that what The Last Jedi was about, Anthony Ray Bench?
Yes, sir. Failure is the greatest teacher.
Yes, failure is the greatest teacher. So,
and every dead body is a lesson learned.
That's all I've ever said.
We have another question. Did you have any misconceptions about dog grooming competitions before the documentary?
What? No. I didn't have any conceptions about dog grooming competitions at all before starting this movie. I didn't know they were a thing. I mean, like, did any of you guys know they were a thing?
No, not until your movie. Like, seriously, not until your film. The thing that really attracted me, I have to compliment you, is that poster you did.
I'm letting you
Can you okay. Can you come back?
Let's see if I can.
We have to ask a question about this poster, this striking image.
Mo.
Yeah, the poster is bananas. I really love it.
Did you shoot that photograph?
No, our poster designers made it. It's a completely fake dog.
No, it's not. For real?
Yeah, it is. It's just really, really good poster designers. Palace Works. They're the best.
It's striking. It's fabulous.
God, I love it. I love that poster.
It just feels like ice cream, It's like all the colors. I was very exacting on the colors, so sorry, Caitlin, but yeah.
It totally works. And I remember at South by Southwest, that poster you could see from a block away. I mean, it was like so like right there, because it was all over South by that year. What was it, 2018? I think.
Yeah.
Was it 2018?
No,
2019.
2019 last year.
Was it 2019? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? Who knows? What's so funny is we did this award show early in the year, and it feels like 3 years ago, and we did it in February.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Norm, I think you have to go, right? Do you have to bail?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have to bounce early.
Why?
I have to. Do you want the truth?
Yes. Are you going to?
I have a gay cocktail happy hour coming.
Oh, a gay cocktail happy hour, right?
But you know what? You know what? I did want to ask one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but you said that there were cat grooming competitions too. Would you ever consider doing a follow-up to this and doing the cat version?
You are not the first person that has asked me that question.
And you're being very coy. Oh no, Norm. Wait, who left? Someone left.
Oh, it's Justin.
Justin. Okay, cool. Hopefully he'll be back. But so yeah, are you okay? I mean, maybe you can't answer that, which is totally fair. But
I'm not crossing it off, right? But I don't know if I'm going to do another animal competition.
Well, the real question is, how much are you willing to invest in order to
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
if you guys want to see this, I can give you a budget,
Well, I mean, I will say this, it's like the world, like I'm in the midst of making a documentary myself, and it's really hard. I'm having to do interviews kind of we've changing some aspects of how we're doing the doc, where we're using more audio than video for certain parts, which actually will end up, looking like we made that choice on purpose, but it's truly being made because of COVID. I mean, we have a deadline to have a cut, but God, it's just strange. Although I did, next week we're actually doing it. We do the watch parties every week, but next week we're doing a movie called You Don't Know Me.
Oh yeah.
NOMI. I don't know if you're familiar with that film.
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't watched it. I've heard it's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. So it's directed by a guy named Jeffrey McHale. Okay, so you will appreciate this as a doc filmmaker. Jeffrey McHale made You Don't Know Me. He shot no footage. He interviewed everyone via like a Zoom-like thing, but he would FedEx them like a microphone, a good mic, so he got really good audio. He's an editor by trade. He works on like TV shows, and all the footage is footage from the movie Showgirls, because it's a documentary about the cult of the film Showgirls, and he interviews everyone online, and then you have audio over video clips and photos. Incredible doc. And we're doing, I mean, vastly different than your doc. It's nothing competitive about it. It's a whole, deep dive into all things Showgirls. And I didn't realize there was a cult about that movie. I just thought it was a bad movie from '95. And then come to find out, if you try to buy it on Blu-ray, it's impossible to find. I didn't realize there was such a cult about it. There's like an off-Broadway like stage play. There's like a drag queen thing where they show the movie, and oh my God. And then I rewatched Showgirls, and I'm like, oh my God, this movie's amazing. I mean, it's one of the greatest bad movies ever made.
Well, The Room would give you a run for your money, but yeah.
Well, so would Troll 2.
Yeah.
But all right.
Are you got to bail, Norm?
All right, guys, I got to bail.
Good. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you, Norm. Take care.
Wonderful meeting you, seeing this doc.
Say goodbye to Remington.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, Remington. Bye, Norm. Cool.
So when my internet failed, the HBO turned off. So where are you guys now?
We are
47 or
I'm about 48 minutes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and it's the competition. They're like deep into it now. There's like 11, 12 minutes left. And they're deep into it. So they're rushing to complete this round. They're showing it's intense. I bet when was the last time you actually watched the movie?
About 6 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually really nice to have some critical distance. So we were fortunate enough to go to about 50 film festivals with the film.
Did you go to all of them?
No, I went to about 20 of them. But it's a lot, and then you end up like seeing it over and over and over again and figuring out what audiences are reacting to, or like what they're not reacting to, and where the laugh is and where it's not. But eventually it was like, okay, I've seen this movie.
Well, yeah, I had a film on the festival circuit, and we played about 40 film festivals, and I went to about half. It's fun. I don't like to watch the movie. After a while, I just don't like. Correction. I like to watch the movie to a certain point because I know that certain laughs come at certain places, and it's fun to feel that energy in the room. But then I'm like, okay, it's good. I'll come in at the end, So yeah. When we had an email exchange, and Rebecca's like, hey, I just want to do a intro, and then I'm gonna peace out. And I was just like, oh, that's not what a watch party is. And I feel bad. I really feel like I should have been more explicit in my explanation. Or Sissy, you've dealt with Sissy. She's awesome. I've dealt with her. Yeah,
I met her because she was couch surfing in my apartment.
Wait, what? I need to hear this story.
Yeah. So my roommate, who now is a travel writer, and he like works now in Cologne, Germany. So he somehow like forayed into he's writing for this magazine that's only for incredibly rich people. So all he needs to do is do like really vacations that incredibly rich people would take and then judge them. It's the best job in the entire world. But he was living with me, and I had told him explicitly that we weren't going to have any more couch surfers because it was getting like, he was just having people in every single day because he was having so much fun meeting them. And Cece was the last person that was allowed to couch surf in our apartment.
Oh, did I mispronounce her name? It's Cece.
Usually, yeah, Cece.
Okay, I feel terrible because I've known her like online. That's how I know most. That's how I know everybody now. But yeah, like I've dealt with her as a publicist for years. She's like one of the good ones who's very honest and like is cool. And yeah, Cece, like she's pitching stuff that's always really good. Like I know it'll be something that I need to pay attention to.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and then she contributed to our Kickstarter campaign when we brought Film Threat back. In 2016, I did a Kickstarter to kind of relaunch Film Threat, the brand as a site and everything, and all the things that we're doing now. And she was very explicit with me. She asked me, she's like, "So is the site going to be supporting indie filmmakers?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's what I've done since we started it. Like that's what but we're going to do it in a much bigger way and amp everything up." She was kind of tough with me. She was just like, "Look, if I'm going to contribute to this, I want to make sure that you're, on this mission." So she was great. So I hope she thinks I've done a decent job. But okay, so now we're at the point where we're 52 minutes in by my count. And
we're at the Alice in Wonderland portion.
Oh God, I love that. See, this is actually the danger of a watch party is you get caught up watching the movie, and that's.
Well, this is the part where we're seeing the dogs all done up and.
Right.
The chicken dog.
So Josiah and Bobby Lapierre are having their own private conversation in our chat, and Bobby Lapierre asks, "Have you seen Santa Jaws?" So. I have not seen that movie, although I did see a movie called Ouija Shark. We get a lot of weird movies at Film Threat. Let me just say we get a lot of strange films because we'll review, a documentary that's very serious about social justice, very important political issues, serious films, and a lot of first-time filmmakers we get, but then we'll get really cheesy, bad exploitation movies like The Velocipastor, which is a real movie. It's about a pastor who turns into a dinosaur. That's a real thing.
Yeah, we need to do a watch party on that one.
I think maybe we will. Yes.
I think either the director or the producer went to the award this ceremony.
They did not win, oddly, The Velocipastor, but
I think
Ouija Shark, but I don't know if Ouija Shark will be on that list. But Rebecca, did the movie win a lot of awards? I mean, I can see
we won a few, yeah.
Do you have them? Do you care to show them off?
No, I don't have them in this room. All I have is a loud dog.
How are you? And I'm curious, like whenever I talk to filmmakers, I'm like, okay, most filmmakers, I'm like, I'm working on a new project. I'm pitching a new script. Some filmmakers have actually admitted to me that they actually like the quarantine and lockdown because the only thing you can do is have meetings. And so they get a lot of pitch meetings in. So not that that's a good thing, but like, I guess that's a benefit of everything, that's been happening. But how are you using your time? I assume you're planning the next project, but why don't you let us know?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning a lot and we're doing a lot of pitch meetings, which has been really nice, and like writing a lot. But
you're working on a narrative film, a narrative feature?
No, but like there's a lot of writing that goes into documentaries. Like there's a reason I'm the writer on this documentary.
Right.
You really craft it. But then beyond filmmaking, I really love to cook, and so like I've been practicing my art in the kitchen. which has been great. So I'm like learning all about that. And my husband's very happy.
That's great.
He's getting nice and lazy too, so it's good.
Well, I feel like everybody's, at least I know I've put on that quarantine 50.
No.
Oh my God. But yeah, like, yes, I think I definitely cook a lot more now. We knew this would happen during this watch party. We knew that this would happen.
Oh my.
Now I have to ask, for the women that you chose to be in this film, do you still keep in touch with them? What has been their reaction? Have they become kind of celebrities in a way?
Sorry, 1 second.
Don't be sorry at all.
Should ask the dog some questions.
We're getting close to the end here.
Yeah. Oh, there is a spiritual element to Velocipaster. All right.
Oh my God. Oh wow, that's hilarious.
The women have become celebrities. So like Adrienne mentioned on her Facebook the other day that like someone ran up to her on the street in Myrtle Beach and asked for her autograph. So they're loving it. And now that we're at this stage of the film, I can say that Nicole's business is doing much better. So that's been a good part. Like if there's any, I mean, a lot of the documentaries I work on are issue centered, and this one is not. And so if there's anything that like could have come out of this, I'm so glad that Nicole's shop is like really up and running and doing well even in quarantine. I saw another kitty cat. Yeah.
So, but you worked on other films before you did this as your first feature.
Yeah, so I produced 3 other films before this one came out. But this
we're right at the end title. We're Well Groomed, and there's your name, directed and written by Rebecca Stern. Woo, everybody! Woo, yeah.
And then produced by Justin Levy.
Woo! What are your final thoughts? How are you feeling now? The project is kind of like, I feel like when you do the DVD commentary, that's when it's done. It's sort of like that's at the end of the journey. That's when you kind of put everything into perspective, right? That's the reflection, the epilogue. What are your final thoughts on Well Groomed in this project?
Oh, that's a really deep question. They're so complicated. Now we need like another hour to talk about it.
Okay, well we're just live streaming. We're not filming on 16 millimeter or Super 16 or anything. I
think that I've kind of gotten addicted to documentaries that are lighter and make you smile. And that was like something that I didn't necessarily expect to come out of this, but now I just want to make more. I think that like one of the things that I loved about making this film was that documentaries are supposed to show reality, and reality isn't always nice, and it's not always pretty, and it's not always happy, but sometimes it is. And so there should be more documentaries that like focus on that. It can't always just be the tragedy mask. And so that was something that has come out for me on making this.
I like that. That's really, I see so many documentaries, political documentaries that make me want to slip my wrist because they're so depressing. Oh my God. I've seen, and these are really good, well-made documentaries, but they're so depressing. You're like, wow, life is hopeless. Politically, we're screwed. We're spiraling into a dystopian future. This is just our fate. We've done it to ourselves, and we're screwed. And you know what? That's why it's good to watch a documentary about competitive dog grooming. I think that sort of puts the button. We need something that's uplifting. We need something that's hopeful. And Josiah asks, how did this compare to other documentaries you worked on?
So the other documentaries I've worked on are the films that you're just discussing, and they're so beautiful and so necessary, and I'm so proud of the work that I've done on them. But they're not necessarily like as joyful or as based in joy, I guess. So that was different. And then a lot of them have either they've been more like either exclusively verite or fully interview. And so this one I kind of got to mix, which I really liked. But you know, each documentary is very bespoke. So that's one of the things I like about working on them. So it like wasn't like any other one. What about you, Justin?
Well Groomed is the most fun by far because it's dogs and it's like a whole colorful fantasy world. So nothing compares to this as being the best one to work on. To get to spend when you're doing a documentary, you're spending a lot of time around whatever it is that you're filming. So what could be a better place to be than at these competitions full of dogs? But yes, I've enjoyed the other films too in different ways. And I think the one thing that really brought Rebecca and I to want to jump into this project was to make a documentary that was not going to make you feel terrible about the world. And that would be something you might want to actually watch on a Friday night, as opposed to something you felt like you should watch, but is, difficult. Those films are important, and I'm sure we'll work on those again too. But I think for us, it was a real attraction to do something that we knew would entertain people and a much more uplifting kind of experience.
Well, we appreciate it. It's I know the exact documentary you're talking about. It's every environmental documentary I ever see. Whenever I see one of those, I think, oh wow, we're just all going to be dead in 50 years. So, and it's hopeless, and no one's doing anything. Although I did see, not to throw in a recommendation for another doc, but I will. I did see one that was the only hopeful environmental documentary I've ever seen, which is a doc called 2040 by an Australian filmmaker. And it was this is what life could be like in 2040. Here are things that people are doing around the world that are impacting our world environmentally in a positive way, and how things will actually, how things could look in 20 years. And the guy uses the example of his daughter, who's like, she's like 3 years old when he starts making the docs. Like, what's her life going to be like when she's 23? So a little people, I know people watch this to get film recommendations. Well Groomed is our #1 recommendation. And if you want to move on, 2040 is another one. I got to thank everybody for being on this watch party. This was great. We did it.
We did
it. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay us. And I want to thank everybody who commented, Bobby and Josiah and all the people who are posting comments. Thank you so much. Check out Rebecca's film, Well Groomed. If you're catching us at the end of this, it's an awesome documentary. It's super fun. It's uplifting. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their Friday night. Although someone had to leave early to go to a gay cocktail party. That's Norm. Norm and Remington are in a gay cocktail party. Norm is my favorite.
He also didn't invite us. So.
He didn't invite us. Exactly. Yes. Well, what's
he
weird
just
is
assumed.
Everybody loves Norm. Everybody loves Norm. So yeah, he has quite the stories. But yeah, thank you everybody for doing this. I think this was so much fun. And Rebecca, congrats on your next project, which I know you are going to come and give it to us first. Give us a little preview. We'll do an interview for the website. You'll let us know when you're ready.
Yeah. You'll be the first to know.
Okay, good. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Friday night, and join us next week. Our watch party is for You Don't Know Me, which is the documentary all about the movie Showgirls. We're going to have Jeffrey McHale, the filmmaker here. And I think, Rebecca, I think you would really like this film.
I'll have to watch.
I think you would like this film a lot. So thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great Friday night. Bye.
Thanks, guys.